Good morning, Crypto Warriors. Welcome back to Gym in the Crypto. Today is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays, and I'm King here to bridge the gap between the community and crypto every day, Monday through Friday at 10ish. I like to sing it. And we are live. Fight! There it is. Good morning, Crypto Warriors, and welcome back to Gym in the Crypto, episode 1339. Can you believe it? Today is Thursday, September 4th, 2025, and I'm King, of course, here to bridge the gap between the community and crypto most days, Monday through Friday, usually at 7 a.m. ish, but today we have a very special show at 8:30 a.m., of course, PST, and today's show will be about Portal to Bitcoin, a new protocol that is dealing directly with Bitcoin, permissionless, DeFi, all those cool buzzwords you all love hearing. So without further ado, well, actually, first and foremost, of course, before I get going, I know you all want to talk prices real quick. So let me scream out some prices to you, and then let's go ahead and get the Portal team on so we can jump into this new protocol. They actually just launched yesterday, so we have a chance to figure out exactly what's going on, and we get to be number one at that alpha that's coming in fast at you. Now, first and foremost, let's go ahead and talk prices. Bitcoin is coming in at $109,425, down 2.4%. Ethereum is at $4,304, down 3.79%. Speaking of which, that Bitcoin and Ethereum market cap has come back as far as dominance percentage has been back on coin market cap. So we'll take a peek at that. Ripple at number 3, $2.80, down 2.17%. Solana at number 6 at $203, down 3.88%. Number 8 is Dogecoin at 21 cents, somehow down 3.04%. Number 9, Tron at 33 cents, down 1.5%. And at number 10 is Cardano at 80 cents, down 3.8%. Fear and Greed Index is at a 44. You can see here Bitcoin dominance is at a 57.7. And somehow Ethereum has peaked back up all the way to 13.8%. I didn't see it coming, but here they are back in the party, and it looks like they're here to stay. All right, those are our prices on the day. And of course, let me give some quick shout outs to the Warriors. I see a few of you just jumped in. Movado, DM Car, Magnolia, Pelican, BK Crypto, good morning. And I'm sure a few of you all will join. Feel free to ask questions in the chat. Let's get this show rolling. Want to bring to the table George Burke. Want to go ahead and introduce him and give him a warm round of applause. This is the co-founder of Portal to Bitcoin, here to tell us all about this new protocol and what they have going. George, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. That was an awesome intro segment, by the way.
Right? Yeah, warm people up in the mornings, you know.
I'm super impressed. You've got 1,300 episodes.
I used to do them almost every single day. As of recently, we slowed it down a little bit because we're starting to get into a monotonous cycle, which is good, right? The maturation of the market. But definitely want to make sure everyone gets that good news and info. Before we get going, talking Portal to Bitcoin, I have a ton of news articles pulled up. They're talking about you all on every major crypto media channel. Can you tell us how you co-founded Portal to Bitcoin? And then quickly, what was your journey to Bitcoin? How did you even get involved in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency?
Well, that's a lot to unpack. I've been an entrepreneur for a very, very long time. I haven't shaved since I was 20, and so like this is just the entrepreneur shaggy beard that just occurs as a result of being, crazed to bring something important to the world. When I was in my late 20s, I built the first Netflix for books along with my co-founder, and what that was is like a library that came to your door. Right? These aren't Kindle books. Kindle wasn't created back then. They weren't ebooks. These were physical books that people could rent through the mail. The same way that Netflix was delivering DVDs throughout the U.S. On a subscription model. And we wanted to give people access to limitless books. And as a result of running that kind of company, I almost never read another book again because I couldn't stand the sight.
Right.
But Bitcoin's a bit different. I love this industry. And one of the ways that I got into it was, I was able to exit from BookSwim. That was the name of that company. but it took a toll on my finances. And my co-founder from that company had actually been a very early Bitcoiner. He was mining in his own office in
Oh, nice.
2011. Uh, yeah, the office he had was providing free electricity. So it was a no-brainer for someone like him to put that together. He was telling me about all the magic of Bitcoin. I couldn't hear it back then. I didn't care until 2013 came around, and there was kind of a concern about my own finances. And I heard, oh, this is private, and like nobody would know. Uh, and so I just took my last $5,000 and bought BTC, and then also the other $5,000 that I had in like a credit card, like that was all that remained to buy mining equipment to mine Litecoin. And from then I was hooked because that was
So
February of
that's a classic OG
2013.
story right there. There we go. You OG.
Price $35, except that I couldn't buy in at $35 because it took a week to get my KYC taken care of by the exchange called Mt. Gox. You guys know all about that crap, but the price jumped to $70 before I got even a chance to buy my first BTC. Now it's very funny to hear about that. Oh, 35, 70. Well, actually, that's 2x the amount of Bitcoins that you could be
Right.
sitting on today.
Worth how much exactly, right? Bitcoin piece a day.
Yeah,
Awesome. Well, you
exactly.
definitely sound like you have that
Thank you.
OG Bitcoin status as well. We've heard so many of those stories to where it's like, yep, started with the Litecoin, mining that, playing around. Next thing you know, I'm here, I'm there. But it looks like this trajectory has sent you to actually now co-founding a company in this space. So that's why you're here today. Can you tell us about Portal to Bitcoin? You guys are having a crazy launch week right now. I'll be bringing up some of these news stories as you tell us about it. But I've seen you on, I got you on CoinDesk here, Coin Telegraph a couple of times, Business
Yeah,
Insider, like you all are everywhere. So first and foremost, what is Portal to Bitcoin? What is it? Who is it? How does it work? How can users begin to use it? Can you give us an introduction into Portal to Bitcoin?
sure. I think the introduction there can actually be well placed by talking a little bit about my other entry into the space. Because in 2013, I was working on an early Bitcoin exchange that was sold to one person. It was an anonymous buyer, but the only person who ever showed any interest was Craig
Okay.
Wright. And
Oh,
so
there we go.
that's right, right. And so we think that he was the actual buyer, but whoever bought that paid in BTC, and the rest is history. But I went on to co-found the first Bitcoin debit card. It was
Oh,
really
wow.
important for like the growth of Bitcoin in the world to be able to, if we're going to spend our Bitcoins, you need to be able to spend them in the real world. And still today, nobody really accepts Bitcoin unless you've set up some kind of wallet merchant account. What if instead you can just put them, you can take a debit card and at the point of swipe, convert your BTC into USD that pays the merchant? That was the concept back then. It was completely novel and it was very difficult to get started. That took like 3 years
I believe the
of my
pushback
life.
must have been crazy just
But
from the companies.
yeah, well, most people who were interested in that called it a Bitcoin debit card, and or who even wanted to go after that type of action, and they needed to work with a bank. They're like, "Hey, we should get a Bitcoin debit card." No, what you have is instead a prepaid reloadable card based loaded with the sale of digital assets, and that was a phrase that got banks a lot more
Okay.
comfortable. So we were able to get two banks to say yes, um, and to this day, I think Coinbase is continuing to use that type of contract that we forged back in 2015. Um, and then in 2017, I took over what was the first ever Bitcoin meetup in the world. It was started by Andreas Antonopoulos and started by Roger Ver in Silicon Valley. It's called the Silicon Valley Bitcoin Meetup. We haven't had a meetup in a while, so I think maybe it's someone needs to take that over because I don't even live in Silicon Valley
You got
anymore.
to
I live
pass
in
the
Jersey.
torch now to the next person. Whoever's in San Fran, listen
Yeah,
up.
yeah, Now, how do we tie this into Portal? Well, all of those different like projects and all the things that we've seen throughout the past decade and a half of like Bitcoin being live, there had been no one who'd been able to solve the problem of going cross-chain in a trustless manner. And if you're going to be able to have the next, let's say, billion people wanting to join in this game, institutions need to get comfortable with it. But it's not just from like a regulatory standpoint that they need to get comfortable with it. They also need to know that they're not going to get rugged, right? If they're going to invest $50 billion into wanting to play in the Bitcoin and altcoin space, they need to know that their money's not going to disappear. And so Portal is born out of the fact that over the years, we've all been prone to hackings like Mt. Gox, where our coins were gone. It's one of the biggest. The bridge hacks that are now continuing to occur. It's like billions of dollars over the past year that have been lost as a result of hacks. And all of this results from going cross-chain, which can never have been done trustlessly. It always needed some form of custodian or some form of bridge. And both of those are risky. So what we put together at Portal is the first implementation as an automated market maker, kind of like Uniswap, using what are called atomic swaps. That's the true technology that makes this work. And I'm sure we'll get into what that means over the course of this discourse.
You using atomic swap. So most of our audience here is familiar with atomic swaps. To me, that was like been some of the best technology. This space, I mean, it's probably one of the most important pieces of technology this space needed. With 2016, late 2016, possibly early 2017-ish, they started coming around, changed the game. I always tell people, I'm like, you can't imagine trying to find a new wallet or a new exchange for that certain coin since you can't just swap into it back then. But this has been the next thing we've actually been talking about on this channel for a while, and that will be cross-chain atomic swaps, which I've been waiting on because I'm like, that's really going to change the game. So it sounds like that's what you have going on here. Is that a correct, yeah, okay, cool.
Yes.
I just want to make sure I was kind of
a protocol that was invented back in 2013 on the Bitcoin Talk forums, where someone here, Nolan, was talking about how to get Litecoin traded for Bitcoin, and how do you do that without a middleman, right? It's back then it's nearly impossible, and so atomic swaps was an invention of his or hers to be able to programmatically reach consensus between two traders, and then have the secret key hash traded on the back end. So that way, the sellers' tokens become the buyers, and the buyers' tokens become the sellers.
Awesome. And as we get to talking about Portal Bitcoin, I'm going to bring you your business development specialist in, and just let you know, I think you might have something in the background, some notifications as a heads up. But I want to welcome Robin to the show as well. Robin, welcome to the show. Robin is the business development specialist, correct me if I'm wrong, from Portal to Bitcoin. So he'll be tagging in with George as well to fully break down everything Portal to Bitcoin does and all it can handle under the hood for sure. Right, Robin?
100%, and it's great to be here. Thank you very much, King. Love your jumper, and also haven't shaved since I was 20, maybe even before then. So yeah, something that George and I have in common. Also have an entrepreneurial background, but not quite as storied in the Bitcoin space as George. I joined a couple of years later. 2016 was the first time that I became aware of Bitcoin and made my first purchase. But I was very busy running my own entertainment business at the time in London, which was taking up all my time and headspace. So I didn't properly engage and look under the hood, and I sold that Bitcoin, and I've regretted it ever since. But it got me interested in the space, and then I've been full-time in BD in the space since 2020. Originally a DeFi project on Cosmos, and then latterly as a senior BD manager at Parity, which stewards the Polkadot ecosystem. So very well aware of what's happening there over the last few years. And I've now been at Portal for 18 months, and it's been a fantastic journey. Yeah, so really happy to be here and keen to dig in to some questions.
You got in around the ecosystem. Those are some big names you're dropping right there. All right, you folks sound like you know what you're talking about. There we go. So
we've attracted talent like that.
Hey, I love.
Speaks to what we're building. I think that 100%. Makes me so excited.
Well, hey, I'll let you all take it away for a moment. I'm going to bring up your website. If you can kind of just, again, just talk us through what assets are you able to swap? Is this for all chains right now, just for a few different chains on Bitcoin? Again, we are the rudimentary crowd. We don't know our left from our right. Tell us what's going on so we can get you to using Portal to Bitcoin immediately.
Yeah, right now, what really important is to think about how the DeFi space has been mostly for EVM chains. And that's where bridging was the easiest. If you wanted to swap an Avalanche token for an Ethereum token, right, all you needed to do was bridge back to Ethereum, and then you could make that happen. Sometimes those bridges are custodian based, but at the very least, it requires a multi-step process. So what we and it never involves Bitcoin. Anytime you see like BTC in an EVM chain, it's some form of wrapped BTC. It's never actually real Bitcoin. So that's something that we've really worked hard at. We wanted to bring Bitcoin into the DeFi space because there's no reason that it needs to be separated. There's no reason why you can't have Bitcoin DeFi like yields on Bitcoin lending products. It's only because it's been so incompatible from these other chains. So what Portal does is it's bridging, excuse me, let me not use that word. It is narrowing the gap between these disparate chains that cannot talk to one another and Bitcoin by allowing for native tokens on those chains to be able to be swapped. That's the most important.
And I love that because you're right. The wrap Bitcoin thing on the DeFi side of the house, I hate the wrap Bitcoin. I hate synthetic, whatever. Like you said, I knew there wasn't a real reason outside of a technological one to why we shouldn't have actual Bitcoin there. So you all saw that problem. It's crazy.
Right. WETH is wrapped Ether. Right. Anytime that you're going to be bridging a token onto another chain, even though it's an L2 and an L1, the token is a wrapped version of that token. Maybe it's held securely because of smart contracts, and hopefully the validators don't game that. But that's always a risk that one needs to take. So what if you didn't need to actually deal with these wrapped tokens, right? What if you can just take these native tokens and allow them to be swapped? Or hell, we can't get around wrapped tokens at the moment because people still want to bridge, right? They want to be able to play with a particular type of token inside of a siloed protocol. You can't do anything but wrap. Okay, fine, right? But do you really need to unbridge in order to take that out of the ecosystem? What if you can take that wrap token and allow it to be swapped for a different token on a completely disparate protocol? As long as there's a pool, like a swapping pool, think of Uniswap, right? As long as there's a pool that allows for access between those two tokens and there's liquidity, then we will be able to fill that order. That's where Portal to Bitcoin comes in.
And how long is it taking to fill those orders, for example? So we use Portal to Bitcoin, we make that swap from whatever token to another token or whatever blockchain to another blockchain. How, some bridges can take up to easily 30 minutes to 3 hours, so how long is that swap taking on your end?
You're going to laugh. So we have what's live within testnet is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. In fact, we just launched a Solana swap today. It takes seconds.
Wow.
Now, how is that possible, right? Because Bitcoin takes at least 10 minutes for the first block to settle like that. So how can we do that? Well, with Bitcoin, we're able to use layer 2. We're able to use state channels through something called channel factories. And that's an improvement on the Lightning protocol. Lightning, as we know, is super quick, right? So when you're dealing with Bitcoin, you're using like a Lightning-based Bitcoin. And that is how we can make this stuff happen so fast.
And I can see here, it says BitGet launch pool features portal to Bitcoin with 30.8 million tokens and rewards. So right now, are people being rewarded for going on some of these different protocols and engaging with portal to Bitcoin?
Well, those are the if I can put it lightly, the rape fees that these exchanges require in order to get a listing. Because what they need is to take your firstborn and they,
There it is.
they need to divide. They need to divide the firstborn up against their amongst their community, so that way their community can be handsomely rewarded.
There it is.
Yeah. So this is not our doing.
Okay, all right. Just want to check out. It made Business Insider, and I'm like, hey, at least they are featuring you all heavily. But I wasn't
Yeah.
sure what type of makes sense. So they're just trying to cover down on their transaction fees with a couple bonuses in the short term, which is still good for you all as well. So if a user wanted,
We would love to be able to put an end to that with these centralized exchanges. These guys have had an oligopoly for way too long, and it's only because of the regulatory capture that makes that possible, as well as the inability to go cross-chain in a manner that's as fast as a centralized exchange until we take over.
so should people be downloading a wallet right now? I was on your website. I saw that you all had an OS. You have a wallet coming. How can people jump in and get involved in your ecosystem immediately? And then how can also people, I guess, essentially stake if they wanted to add liquidity? Are they able to do that as a normal user? So what are some of the ways people can interact with Portal to Bitcoin?
The staking is going to be coming soon in terms of the liquidity provision for these pools. We put together a really cool protocol that rewards people very, very handsomely. I'll let Robin get into that because it's kind of cool how we structured this. So yes, there's a lot of LP rewards that are going to be happening, but we're not there yet. Right, the token just launched yesterday, and the token is launching before like the main net of our protocol. That's going to be coming live very soon. Within either the month, maybe a little bit longer. But we've had Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Solana as our launch. There are a few others that are also ready, which we're not allowed to say which ones yet. Eventually, what's going to happen is that these chains are going to be able to be added by the dev teams themselves, just like launching a new pool on Uniswap. Right, as long as you provide the liquidity, we can use an extensible method of getting new chains added.
Oh wow,
So
okay.
that's the holy grail, because then we're not any kind of centralized entity that's making choices as to which chains to host. Everyone should be able to add those chains themselves should they want to.
Awesome. And I'm looking at this. You all have gotten some incredible investment partners. From the initial story I just had up that said, you all raised $50 million to allow users to trade with Bitcoin grade security. And this article right here is mentioning some of your partners, backed by 92 million in funding from OKX, Coinbase. How were you all able to put all of this together? I guess to go from inception to having Coinbase Ventures back you in this project and scaling up to where you are now launching a token?
Well, thank you for asking that. I think the way to describe that would first be to explain what it is that we've built, and how it's so different from other types of swapping protocols. Robin, I would love if you would take that, because then what's going to happen is we'll back into it and go, well, why do these investors care? Right. So the LP stuff, like go for it, man. Tell everyone why this
matters. Very happy to jump in. I mean, look, and what really makes us stand out from our competitors is safety. That's it fundamentally. Now the Bitcoin space is maturing. Now the institutions are getting interested. They want to know that they're not going to lose their assets. They want to know that they're not going to get rugged. This is exactly what George was talking about. We've all experienced it, any of us that have been in the crypto space for long enough. And so when we're speaking to people about rewards, when we're talking to people about pools, the thing that they're most interested in is it safe? Really, because they can put their assets to work in many other ways, but is it safe? Are their assets still going to be there? And the answer is yes, it's the safest swapping technology that is available. That's why we've used it. It's native to native, it's fully non-custodial. And so that means that on top of the very generous rewards, which I'll tell you about in a moment, you're also removing the risk premium that people typically pay when they are allocating assets. And so you're getting this double upside of removing risk and also adding in a really generous rewards program, the most generous that we have seen in the DeFi space for this sort of technology, for this cross-chain swapping protocol. And LPs are obviously an extremely important part of our launch. The pools will be live in a couple of weeks with mainnet. And what we're doing is we are now open to capital allocators coming in, putting their assets to work, the assets that George mentioned there. So your BTC, your ETH, your SOL, your stables, and earning stable, safe returns on those assets. So that's the number one point. And to recognize the outsized contribution that LPs have in the ecosystem to facilitate trading, market depth, to make sure that we start this flywheel spinning of capital being pulled into the ecosystem because they see the trading happening, they see lightning quick swaps, they see safety, they compare us to Thorchain, they see that we're 80 times faster and we're non-custodial. And we're on top of that offering 2/3 of token inflation of the portal to Bitcoin token to the LPs, as well as 100% of trading fees. So if you can tell me another protocol out there that is offering those sorts of rewards, then we're very happy to hear about it. But from what we've seen, those are the best rewards in DeFi for the safest swapping that is possible. And that is why we've attracted millions in capital, not just in terms of investment, but also in terms of our LP pools, where we're having 5 to 10 million commits from some of the biggest liquidity providers in the space. There is still room, but people need to get in pretty fast.
And that's what I was going to say. If you're talking rewards on the DeFi side, you are in the right place. Okay. Our crew of D-Gens over here who are willing to risk and bet everything for that extra Satoshi, a chance of Satoshi, should I say. So it's always cool to see on the DeFi side when they're offering rewards, when they're doing cool stuff. And that's the fun thing about these launches that gets people involved. They're like, this isn't a stagnant thing, especially when a project first launches. It's like they're being listed here, they're being talked about there. The conversation's in, there's being developments. So that's all cool to see. With that being said, and kind of where you're on, first, congratulations. I was just looking at Coin Market Cap. You all are officially on Coin Market Cap, so that's a big deal. Portal to Bitcoin, that P2B token. Can you actually tell us about the tokenomics in general? I saw in the article they're saying, hey, you're going to have a lifetime fixed supply of 8.4 billion. You have an emission model that mirrors Bitcoin's happening. So what are some of those tokenomics that people might want to know or care about?
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. 8.4 billion is the maximum supply. I don't know how we came up with that number. At first we wanted to have 21 million, and then we're like, oh, well, actually that's not enough tokens. and then we're like, oh, maybe we need to multiply it by 4, and then maybe we need to multiply it by 1,000, and so it just kind of got that way. But the number is not what's relevant. It is the percentage of supply that is circulating. So right now, we designed a system that is meant to not just purchase tokens on the open market. So with every trade that occurs, half of the swap fee goes toward buying the portal token on the open market. And we've seen some other protocols do this over the years. But what's unique about this is that we're actually burning those tokens. They're not just being bought and put into our own pockets. It's being bought and burned, which rewards everyone through increased scarcity. So every time there's a swap, the portal to Bitcoin network supply is being reduced. And that's essentially a function that we think is going to be key to all of these endless protocols that have no supply cap in sight. And right, all they do is they want to get some press, so they announce a token buyback, or maybe they announce a token burn. Right, but it's not built into the protocol itself. So the more people are swapping, the more portal tokens are disappearing from the face of the planet.
And it's that liquidity flywheel that I mentioned that is always top of mind. Right? And that's what George is describing. There is an inbuilt flywheel of liquidity, and liquidity attracts liquidity. Because as we know, if the tokens are getting burnt with each trade and the scarcity is increasing, then the price is going to increase. And people are going to see that, and that is going to suck in liquidity from other ecosystems, and then they're going to trade, and the whole story starts again. So
will there ever be a deflection point, or will, I guess, you all just kind of break it down the same way Satoshis are broken down to say, all right, well, maybe now we're not burning a full P2B token. Maybe we're only burning 5% of what it used to be, or 1/100th of it or something. Is that what's going to happen eventually?
I don't think that it works that way. It's economic based.
Okay.
This is purely a USD based thing. So let's say the portal to Bitcoin network FDV in the future is $10 billion. Then if there's X number of dollars of economic activity through trading, then the trading fee in USD, it goes toward purchasing portal on the open market.
Okay.
That's essentially what's happening. So it's elastic in that way. It doesn't need to be just supply based. I think the economics of it being based on USD makes sense.
Awesome. And in general, once this gets fully rolling, since you all just launched, what, 2 or 3 days ago, at what point is there like a certain financial point you're saying, well, okay, well, this is being actualized at $5 billion, at $500 million, at $50 million? Is there a certain volume point you all need to see for everything to really kind of work right? Because I know oftentimes a lot of these DeFi protocols are kind of betting on Bitcoin continuing to pump where it's doing its thing, whereas sometimes if Bitcoin dips, it kind of shows holes in that protocol itself. So is there any number you all need to reach, or anything volume wise you all need to hit in order for the protocol
a lot of that is based
to
on
work?
lending, I think.
Okay.
When you see those protocols that become vulnerable due to price
Great
action,
word, for sure. Yeah.
right? I think that has to do with the fact that they've been rehypothecating loaned tokens, and it doesn't economically work at that price. Either that, or people abandon it and the network is no longer secure. That could be another reason, right?
I love the
Or
answers. You know what you're talking about.
Or like the stake tokens for the validators, right? They've staked a whole shitload of tokens, and now those tokens aren't worth much. But what is worth is the amount of capital that they are in control of. And so they could collude, and let's get that capital because it outpaces what this token that we've had to stake to become validators is worth. So
we don't want to name any names here.
That brings up a good point. So one of the reasons why our token supply continues to shrink over time is that with validators are required to stake, right? And the stake requirements get larger over time. And that's in order to pull active supply. But unlike validators on most other protocols, these guys have no access to user funds. They are not in control of vaults that hold crypto. Why? Because vaults don't exist in the portal to Bitcoin network. the concept is that tokens only exist in your own wallet, and the validators act like nothing more than watchtowers to be able to ensure that a trade either goes through or does not go through and remains in the safety of your own wallet as a trader, or the safety of your own wallet as an LP. So sure, right? The price could absolutely go down, and that might not make the stake worth it. But there is no method by which the validators are going to then decide to collude to steal user funds. It's just not
Right.
possible.
And one of the last but not least topics I definitely want to cover. You all clearly are operating in the United States. I see you do have backing from Coinbase Ventures, so I'm sure you already have the right teams or people in place to tell you about some of the regulatory issues you may face. But how have you all been handling regulatory issues, if any? I mean, to be fair, now is the greatest time to launch a crypto company in the United States. Let's be clear about that. But have you
That
all
wasn't the
faced
case
any
in 2021.
Right, exactly. No,
Mm,
no, but believe me, it's not been the case for many years. So, have you all faced any regulatory challenges, or in general, how are
I'll
you
tell you,
dealing with the regulations?
every crypto guy from the early days has had to have like um, a junior law degree
Right,
in
exactly.
in securities law, but not just that, also in game theory and in cryptography, and in startup economics. It's really wild to know what it takes to do this. Um, Let me tell you what did the regulatory regime look like in 2021, which is when we began raising from some of these amazing names like Coinbase Ventures and OKX and Arrington, lots of and Gate too, right? They're on our cap table. These guys saw that we did something different. We didn't sell a token to begin. And by selling a token, you're pretty much by default making it a security because you're making a promise of either future gain or well, I can't exactly say the mechanic by which that occurs, but what is important is that people only ever invested in equity, and then tokens are able to come later. So what happens is investors are we needed to change up how people invested to be a truly buttoned up entity, right? We come from Silicon Valley. Robin comes from England, but we come from Silicon Valley. We've been in the startup game a long time, and this was really refreshing for like Coinbase and Arrington to see that this is a different way to bring professionalism into the wild west of token sales. So now, what we've been able to do as Americans is be happy that that we haven't tripped up any kind of regulatory regime, because why was it important that a token is never considered security back then? Tokens were getting delisted from exchanges like Coinbase, or they needed to make sure that a token was never considered a security in order to allow it to be listed. So we wanted to ensure that there was never any mechanism by which it would trip up that potential of being as freely traded as Bitcoin is. And
Awesome.
now, years later, we've been able to ensure that.
And again, for those who are just listening, this is Portal to Bitcoin. This is their team. The co-founder as well as the business development team is here. And for those again who are just logged in or who are just hearing about Portal to Bitcoin, how and where do they get started?
We would love you to go to portaltobitcoin.com, go on Twitter at Portal to Bitcoin, and go on our Discord. The link to the Discord is on our website as well as on Twitter too. I mean, that's where we would love for you to get all the information about what's happening. But if you want to be part of the ability to use our software, go to the website, click on the wallet link, and go ahead and download it. Right, you'll be able to trade these native tokens within your wallet, and more tokens and more chains will be added on a very regular basis.
I mean, this is incredible. Cross-chain atomic swaps are officially here. You'll be able to do all that in the wallet instantaneously from what you're telling us. There's nobody holding on to your, whatever token you're trying to swap into. It's happening all on the DeFi side of the house. This is incredible. I mean, this is incredible. I'm super excited. I can't wait to try it. It's something I'm going to jump into as well. Like you said, the bridges, they used to give me headaches for sure. They were taking too long at times. You don't know what's going on with your money while you're waiting. And then right now, the way that they have been swapping tokens, I won't say the names either. We know, like, I would say 2 of the 3 main companies that are, especially in the US, that are doing it. They do a terrible job right now, honestly. I mean, they're putting messages in wallets where they're like, hey, this might take up to 24 to 36 hours. And it's like, there's no reason for it to take that long. What's going on here? So
No,
that
that's
happens on
because of permission. You want to know why? What's going on with that?
Well, tell us. Yeah, tell us.
Yeah. Well, that shit is centralized. Well, semi-centralized. It's like a conglomerate or a federation of validators. Now, when you want to peg out of a protocol, and you need permission from the federation in order to peg out, what are they doing with that token in the meantime?
Right. Yeah.
Right. Are they rehypothecating it? Are they looking for an opportune time to give you back the token that you bridged into their protocol? Why are they taking so long? It's not technology. It's
Right.
because
It's not the tech.
because they can.
No, I'm with you, and that's my biggest beef with these companies. I've pressed them so many times where it's just like, look, I'm looking at the trading. There's a reason why I'm making this swap too. Like, knock it off and let me get my token back. Someone asks, is there possible to get equity still, like Coinbase, or is that too late? I'm assuming it's probably too late, but hey, can we get in with the Coinbase deal? What's going on there?
Maybe you can find an investor who wants to sell you some.
Oh, all right. Y'all heard it. There you go. It sounds like you got to have your Satoshis right before that's actually going to happen. All right. Make sure you check them out on portal2bitcoin.com. Again, you just saw the background. I love how you have some of your code available for, looks like folks who want to build on the platform or protocol as well. Is that what that is? That was listed there?
Say that again. The background.
I think you had some of your code available on the website as well. Let me see. It was the Portal Dev Corner. Portal's vision to make.
Oh, yeah. I mean, our code is open source.
Okay, it is open source.
Oh yeah, awesome. There's a lot of it that's open source. Some of it's not, and it
right.
Eventually we'll be able to release those things. But yeah, as we're building this stuff, you have to build in secret and then release it to the world. But everything that's actually released is public, is open source.
All right, folks, make sure you check out the website, Portal to Bitcoin. Check out their Twitter or their X account now. I keep forgetting we swapped those names. And, of course, you said the Discord, so you all know the new alpha that's coming out. Make sure you download it. I'm going to go ahead and download it and jump on it as well because, again, if this is working, as you all say, you have my capital. For sure, you have my volume. You have my cosign as well because we definitely need cross-atomic swaps when it comes to chains at this point. So yeah, it looks like you all might be number one. I can't wait to see.
You're going to be working with testnet tokens at the moment until mainnet launches, which would be in a few weeks. And the testnet tokens is very funny. Like they're hard to get.
Oh, really? Okay.
They're hard to get. Yeah. So we have a faucet that lets you get a few of those tokens, so that way you can at least test the system. And so yeah, go for it.
And also for those who are listening, this is a good chance for you to get on the development side, or at least I would say the early adopter side, that a lot of people in Bitcoin had opportunities when these have Bitcoin faucets. For those who don't know, there's basically websites that will give you free Bitcoin and things of the sort. So this is a chance to do that with another protocol that is not as much heavy lifting or heavy on your pockets and portfolio. When you talk about capital investment up front, you can still have fun. Check out some of the faucets, get some of the testnet tokens, and start playing around on their platform before they actually go live. And of course, with all this backing, we won't talk about it. We won't talk about that token action, folks, but there's a lot of backing and they're planning to go live soon. So we shall see what happens with Portal to Bitcoin. George, Robin, I'll let you all have the last word. Robin, you go first. We'll end it with George since you're the co-founder. What do you have for us? Tell us what you have. Leave us with a message. And for
What
sure,
I have for you is join our community. We have an incredible community. They've been supporting us for many years. And that's where all the alpha is. That's where you can get involved. That's where you're going to find out what's happening with Portal. And we're really active as well. You know, we're a serious team. We're all out in the open. You can reach out to me. You can reach out to George. You can reach out to our head of community. We are here to tell you about what we're doing. We're really proud, really proud of what we've built. It's an incredible piece of technology. It is going to change the world. So yeah, hop on board, jump into that Discord, and we would love to see you there.
Thank you. Thank you. And George, what do you have for us?
He said it. He said
There
it.
it
All I
is.
can do is thank you, King, for having us on.
Hey,
Yeah,
thanks for
appreciate it,
being
man.
here. We truly appreciate it. We always like hearing about new protocols, especially on the DeFi side of the house to make our lives easier. So I can't wait until you all officially go live. Like I said, I'll definitely be using you because the competitors that are centralized do not do a great job. So wide open, and I can't wait. Hey, folks, smash that like and share. I'll be back tomorrow with some more general crypto news and analysis, 7 a.m. PST. We will see you then. But until then, go ahead and log on to Portal to Bitcoin, do some homework, and let's jump into the Discord and tell me what you think. Till then, cheers. See you.